I'm Taneur. I manage the bar here at Citizen Public House in Old Town Scottsdale. So Citizen Public House is a 5-star upscale fine dining restaurant that serves new American fare in the heart of Old Town Scottsdale. It's been here for about 13 years now, and I was lucky enough to join them last year. I kind of oversee all of the drink menus, my bar staff, the wine program, pretty much anything that pertains to the bar. We're also full service at the bar, so also making sure my staff is trained for food knowledge and safety and steps of service. So I actually recently had an issue with, I guess, menu knowledge. One of my staff members, I think maybe over time kind of got a little bit complacent, not constantly reminding themselves of the things that we're serving. And that's super important for so many reasons: safety, guest experience, as well as just like enthusiasm for the role. So we gave everybody a little test just to see where they were at, and they did not want to take the test, which is hard when you have something like so important. So what we did basically the next day is we had a conversation, kind of just started by asking questions. I kind of wanted to get a feel for where the lack of desire came from, where kind of the resistance was. I just kind of wanted to understand that before we took any route. I think that's super important, instead of just kind of like laying down the law. Before taking disciplinary action, I kind of wanted to get to the root of why his behavior was that way. So I asked a few questions like, are you still happy here? Is there anything you feel like you haven't expressed to us that you need to express? Are there any frustrations you currently have? And it seems like there were a lot of like little things that hadn't been talked about that gave this person the impression that they were the only one that needed to kind of study up and up their game a little bit. But you know, through talking to them, I was able to reassure them that everybody was held to the same standard and that they were not being singled out, and this is in fact something that everybody needs to do. So I think that relieved a bit of the tension, and then from there we were able to set clear parameters for what's expected, when it's expected, and what will happen if those goals are not met. Yeah, so this was actually a really tough one, because you know, you get close with your staff and it's really hard to, you know, pump the brakes and recenter everything. So I feel like it was a good exercise in communication on both ends, making sure that I'm available to people and they feel like they can approach me and talk to me about any of their concerns or frustrations. I think we set a pretty reasonable goal by giving all of the information that they needed in order to succeed and pass their tests that we're giving them. Set a reasonable deadline, which is coming up pretty soon. So we will see how well they've studied. But I think it was a good exercise in communication for us both, for sure.
Can you describe a time when you've had to give or receive feedback?
Yeah, so my operations manager and I started doing one-on-one meetings every week, where we kind of talk about my goals, the company's goals, how those are lining up, if there's any areas that we can improve in, steps we can take to improve them, and kind of focus a little bit more. So that's been something that we've been like practicing a lot of, which is really nice, because sometimes I feel like, you know, you get into the groove of doing your day-to-day thing, but you may kind of like lose track of certain things. And so it's really nice to be able to recenter every week, be told to focus a little bit more here or a little bit more there, and kind of adjust from there. And then also just, you know, with recent events, being able to communicate more with my staff and give them feedback in a from an empathetic standpoint, and kind of just understanding where they're coming from makes giving feedback to them a lot easier. So I think we're going to be practicing a lot more of that as well.
Can you talk about your journey within the company and what you've learned?
Yeah, so I started here at Citizen Public House, I think a little over a year ago. And I came on just as a bartender. I actually knew some people who worked here and they thought that I would love it. So I came in and talked to everybody and like immediately fell in love with the place. So at first it was just more just bartending and, you know, taking care of the guests. And kind of as time went on, there were things that I felt that I could help improve, whether it be just like organization, cleanliness. I love being creative, so I like coming up with drinks. We rolled out a new menu and I kind of helped put that together last year. And then an opportunity arose, and so now I kind of oversee everything in the bar, which is really great. So I'm able to implement all the things that I was kind of pushing towards, and kind of restructured the whole bar program in so many ways. We did a lot of reorganization of product, making the working space a lot more efficient, and I'm also getting ready to roll out my first full cocktail menu here, which is really fun.